Hey guys, Sean Bougie, surplusfundsriches.net, and this is about why it is so important to check debt and ownership. Basically, you're checking title on the property. You don't have to pay for it. You go to the Register of Deeds department with the county, and using their system, you can make sure that the person on the list was the actual last owner prior to the sale. Yes, it sometimes changes hands prior to the sale, and that there was not additional debt in addition to whatever the foreclosing entity was entitled to. In other words, Bank of America's foreclosing, and in that instance, you can check and make sure there was not a home equity line of credit from another bank, because if there was, that is a priority claim to the surplus in front of the owner. Kind of important to know that before you get into trying to chase down an owner who's not entitled to the money. Same thing with tax sales. While you certainly don't run into mortgages often when it's a tax foreclosure, you can run into home equity lines of credit, liens against the property, and that type of thing. So let's get into it here. Debt is not canceled by the foreclosure. It is no longer attached to the home. That's how they are able to sell it at foreclosure to the new buyer. But that debt isn't canceled, guys. That means any debt, in addition to the foreclosing entity debt, has a priority claim to the surplus funds in front of the owner. If you don't check, you'll chase deals that won't work out. Creditors will have to be notified as part of the process of claiming the surplus funds, guys. Most of the times they'll show up. But here's the important thing: creditors don't lose their claim if they don't show to the court proceedings or don't respond to the notification. They still retain their primary place in line in front of the ex-owner. Anybody telling you different either has zero experience, or if they're not even teaching you this stuff, they have zero experience or they're not consistently working this. They got lucky on a deal and they decided, well, I'm going to train other people how to do it. Got to know this. How do you do this? You use free online register of deeds departments to research the debt. I've covered that. It's in a 1 hour free training video at surplusfundsriches.net. It literally takes just a few minutes for me to show you an example file. All you do is A, make sure the ownership didn't transfer prior to the foreclosure, because then the last owner prior to the foreclosure is the one that's getting paid. Only difference is in mortgage surplus funds files out of Florida. That's the only one where it's different. And B, make sure there isn't additional unsatisfied or open debt, stuff that hasn't been paid off. Now, what happens if you don't check debt? Well, having additional debt is more frequent than you think. People don't just get behind on mortgages or their taxes, guys. They're typically in trouble across the board. You will chase dead end deals, guys, if you don't do this. Why don't other trainers talk about this? Well, they don't have a true partnership option, so they really don't care if you chase dead ends. They're about the hit and run course sale, and the few guys out there that actually JV basically want you to put the whole deal together, take it to near the end, and they'll walk it across the line for you for half the deal. We don't think that's fair. We are also going after with a new program launching April the 19th at 10 a.m. Eastern over at 10 p.m. Eastern on one day only, the Surplus Creditor Partnership 50 program. That program has partnership built in where we will buy the debt. If there was debt in the way, we will buy the debt either outright or with a structured buyout, and we will split the profit with you. Look for that at surplusfundsriches.net. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.